Hi, my name is Mike Frye, Director of Instruction here at Westbrook Village Golf Club. Today we're going to be talking about a basic chip shot around the green. So the basic chip shot, what we're really trying to accomplish is make it as consistent and forgiving as possible. So we do a couple things a little differently here than we would like on a full swing, or even if we're trying to loft the ball up even more. Before I recorded this, I just did a handful of shots just to kind of show how consistent this can be. It was my first 7 shots. As you can see, one of my first shots was a little long, and then after I adjusted for the speed, all of them were right tightly packed around the hole. I think the furthest I hit it away was something like 4 feet, and the rest of them were 1 or 2 feet away. This can be an extremely consistent shot, and this is the type of shot that you're going to use when you're pretty close to the green. And you're going to use this shot quite a bit, or I'd at least want you to, because it is one of the most forgiving shots that you can hit. And so today I'm going to be going through how do you set up to it, how do you make this shot work, and some of those things that I'm talking about that are going to make it more consistent. So as you're setting up to this, we are standing quite a bit closer, and we're going to tip the club up a little bit, meaning that the toe of your club is going to be on the ground. And that actually accomplishes a couple of those things I was talking about that are a little bit more forgiving. When you get the club a little closer to vertical, it won't be quite this vertical, but when it is vertical like that, the club swings so easily. Gravity can do so much of the work when you get this club vertical like this. The other thing is that when you get the toe down, the toe of your club is actually one of the most forgiving things that you can use to interact with the ground. This will want to just kind of glide along the ground. Even if you hit the ground pretty firm, this will just kind of glide right on through. When you get it where it's a little bit more flat, or even if you got it where the heel's down, that's going to want to dig more than the toe is. But as you do that, because for this shot I do want you to be thinking that that toe is down. If I was to set that flat on the ground, right now I've got a 50-degree wedge pointing right at the camera. If I put the toe down, it's going to want to go a little bit to the right. So what we're going to do is we're just going to turn that club a little bit to the left to get that to point back at the target. And if you've watched my other videos, you can actually learn this skill. Where should this actually go based on the result of the ball? If the ball's going towards the target, you got the toe down, you know that you turn the face where it's supposed to go. But you do have to make that minor adjustment. Otherwise, when you do this, the shot's going to go off to the right if you're a right-handed golfer. But again, you're building in some of those things that are going to make this quite a bit more forgiving. So when we set up, it's the same as what I've shown in the past. If you've seen my setup video, it's the exact same thing. The only thing we're adding to this is we're going to stand a little bit closer, and we're going to tip the club down a little bit. So ball's still going to go roughly in the middle of my stance. I still got a very narrow stance. Ball's in the middle. The only thing that I'm adding to this that's a little different than my setup video is that I'm going to be standing closer. I'm going to be putting the toe down. So again, it's in the middle of my stance. I'm still going to turn that left foot out. I'm still trying to get my shoulders level, but the toe is going to go down. I'm very purposely trying to get that club up a little higher like this. And we'll be setting up something that looks a little bit more like this. And just keep in mind, when you tip that club up, I still want that heel pad on top of the club. This would be about the only shot around the green where it's not absolutely 100% necessary, but I still like what it does by having that heel pad up. But when we set up to it, as you can see, as I tip that down, it's actually taking my wrist into what might not be the most comfortable place, but it's kind of putting your wrist into a very stable position where you can just leave it in that position the entire time. So when I take it back, I'm just going to take it back. I still got my wrist in a very similar position. I still have that heel pad on top, and that wrist is in a very similar position. When I come back to the ball, same thing. As I come through, same thing again. So as I was saying, as you tip that up, this would be about the only one that you could use something more like a putting grip. It's not my preference though, but you can do that just to get that club to get a little bit more vertical like I'm showing here. So those are the main things. So we're going to stand quite a bit closer to the ball. Stand that club up, put the toe down here, and then everything else I've been talking about in my videos is still in place. There is a plane here, but because the plane, I'm tipping that club up so much, it's a very steep plane. It's almost going to be like you're taking that club straight back, but there is a plane to it. Just keep in mind it's a very steep plane here. So when I take it back, I'm still on plane. Going to bring it back down. I'm going to make sure that I interact with the ground, and I'm still going to do a little rotation through. That'd be a good example of, I didn't quite close that face enough. So you see I missed it about 2 feet to the right or so. That'd be a quick adjustment. And if you hit it 2 feet away, it's not the end of the world. So as you're getting better at this shot, this is the shot that I want you to be playing as often as possible, but it doesn't work if you're trying to hit over a bunker or you need to go much more than 20 yards or so. Like it's not the universal shot, but it is the shot that you're going to be playing a lot. So hopefully you can give that a try, and this will be one of the most consistent shots that you can play around the green.